Alright guys, you guys may or may not know, but lately I've been trying to learn how to like record music more, right? And trying to learn how to compose music. I'm starting to learn more about audio, about compression and all that stuff, right? Everything that is involved with making music, right? And trying to get like the best sound possible. Lately I got really into this one guy. His name is Frightbox Recording. He does a really good job of making tutorials explaining how to mix like heavy music and stuff like that, right? And the thing I love most about this guy's approach is basically he simplifies the process very well, and it's something that he's been doing for a while, is recording heavy music, right? So obviously I'm listening to him, right? And one mistake that he brings up a lot, I guess a lot of people that are starting to learn how to mess around with audio, and this is the same mistake that I've been making, is that people want to boost too much of like certain frequencies because think by increasing the volume of something, it's gonna make it sound better, right? And pretty much all you're doing is you're increasing like a lot of noise, you're increasing a lot of bad frequencies and so on and so forth, right? And he pretty much shows you it's better to like reduce the frequencies that you don't want instead of boosting the frequencies that you do want, right? And I'm about to show you what I'm talking about really quickly here. Okay, here's one of the pause projects. Okay, so when it's recording using the lavalier mic, sometimes like the voice can sound too boomy, right? There's a lot of bass, right? Or too boxy. I'll tell you what boxy means in a bit. So to make it sound more clear, from previous videos I've watched, that they will suggest to add like a treble booster, right? And that's something I did. If you're not familiar with this, I'll just go over it really quickly. Basically, you have your bass. This is your like low bass area. These are kind of like your low mids area. These are more like the higher mids, and these are your highs, right? Now I've made a video on how I clean up audio, and I'll link that in the description. But basically, what I did here, I had a high pass, which is cut off all these low frequencies that you don't want. Then I added like a low pass that I cut off all these high frequencies they don't need, because those areas are mainly just noise. Most of like the voice that you hear when people are speaking, they're mainly around this area and then the mids, right? That's where like the voice kind of like lives, right? All those voice frequencies, right? The higher up you go around these areas, you start getting like a lot of nasty whistling sounds, right? And this is what they sound like.
With the aid of NVIDIA through a sponsored video and without the aid of professional gamers. My goal here is to show you guys at home what the difference is if you're going to jump from something like a 60 Hertz gaming monitor up to 240 Hertz. And of course...
Okay, so you hear that whistling sounds? Yeah, those are like a lot of nasty frequencies that exist in that audio spectrum, right? So I reduce them. Now, when you add a treble booster is mainly in like the high area, right? So low, mids, and treble. Treble basically means higher end frequencies, right? The reason why you don't want to add a treble booster, because pretty much all you're doing is you're increasing those nasty frequencies, right? If you were to increase the treble, this area, all these like nasty frequencies that I try to reduce, you're just increasing them, you're adding more noise to like the audio from his lavalier mic, right? Obviously, we don't need that. So what I started doing is, this is a parametric filter, by the way. So underneath one of the parametric filters, this is to clean up the audio by removing the low frequencies and high frequencies that don't need, along with those whistling sounds. I added another parametric equalizer, and in this case, what I did was, let me reset this. So basically, you want to hear more of the higher end frequencies, right? That's more of the mids. That's where you want to hear some of like the voice, right? To remove some of like the boomy, bassy sounds that's kind of like mudding up like the audio. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretty much just remove like the lower frequencies a bit, not too much.
Difference it made. I will say that that video had an impact on me because it showed me that it does make a difference. Not just the jump from 60 to 144, but...
See, just there you already removed a lot of bass, and it's very simple, right?
But there is still a difference going from 144 up to 240, and now monitor manufacturers are talking about going up to 500 Hertz.
There's like a sound that's referred to as boxy, and this is what they're referring to.
Back at the end of 2019, I was invited to participate in a video with LMG Linus Media Group where we tested the difference.
That sound, I guess, is what referred to as boxy. That's my assumption. I'm still learning this, so I'm just showing you what I'm learning, right? But this is what works for me. So once you find like that kind of like a nasty boxy sound, this is why we just reduce it.
Difference in gaming between 60 Hertz, 144 Hertz, and going all the way up to 240 Hertz to see what kind of a difference it made. I will say that that video had an impact on me because it showed me that it does make a difference. Not just the jump from 60 to 144, but there is still a difference going from 144 up to 240, and now monitor
And that's basically it. I'm not increasing anything. I'm not boosting anything because by boosting like the trebles, then pretty much what you're going to be doing is you're boosting up those nasty frequencies that you're trying to remove, or those nasty frequencies that are existing in that area. And you don't want that. It's just noise, right? So it makes more sense and it sounds a lot cleaner by reducing very slightly some like the bass areas or some like the lower mids areas, right? Just to remove some of like that boomy sound and it clears like the audio a bit more. That we can hear like the voice a lot clearer, right? I just recently learned this and that's why I'm sharing this with you because it made a difference now to like do this with pause audio, right? And I got this guy to thank, Frightbox Recordings. I believe his name is Trevor. Yeah, I learned a lot from this guy. The only increasing that you want to do is when you're increasing like the main volume of your timeline, you increase that as a whole instead of increasing like certain frequencies. And just as important, you want to make sure you get a good audio source to begin with, right? That's why get yourself a good mic. That way you don't have to worry about equalizing everything to death like a motherfucker because it does not sound good. You want to make the audio sound natural as possible, right? So treble boosters, bass boosters, all this shit, and they may come in handy in certain situations, but for me, in this case, for what I do, reducing those little lower frequencies, it helps a lot more instead of adding a treble boost filter, which just increases like those little noises that I just showed you. Anyways, that's all I got for you. I hope it helps. Peace.